Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawoman Radio. I'm Amy. Today, we're going to talk about the Leticia Stauch case, the Lori Vallow, and also the Sarah Boone. Those are the three trials that are going to be happening this week, or this month, I should say, and we're going to talk about it. So let's roll the credits, and then we'll get into it.
Sarah Boone will go on trial for allegedly zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase back in 2020. She recorded his pleas for help and then let him die. We're going to show you this video, the video of the recording. Keep an eye on the suitcase. Very, very disturbing to watch. Take a look.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
We did it again. I like that shirt.
Today. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone's doing well. I've gone through a really difficult period of my life. I feel like I'm maybe coming through the other side of it. And I hope so. I hope so. And I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Sunday. Guess what? We've got like a huge April lineup for true crime, female true crime. We've got the Sarah Boone case that sometime this April will start. We've got the Lori Daybell, Vallow Daybell case that's starting on Monday, but there will be no cameras in the courtroom. And then we got the Leticia Stauch case that's happening on Monday, and there will be cameras in the courtroom. So that will be the case that we will be covering live, but we'll be bouncing back and forth from the Daybell Stauch case. And also when the Sarah Boone case starts, we'll be covering that one as well. I know there's what is it? The West case? I think it's the West case that's coming up as well. That's the California case where I think they were adoptive parents murdered their two sons. Either that or it was like his children, and she helped, or something like that. But two children were murdered in the West case, two children in the Vallow case. Um, Vallow Daybell case, one child in the Stout case, and a grown man in the Boone case. So there's a lot. And today we're going to talk about the Vallow, Stout, and Boone case. And I wanted to start with the Boone case first because I just wanted to. So I want to remind you this is Women Radio, and I'm Amy. If you could give this live a thumbs up, a heart, a smile, however you do it on the platform you're at. Today we're over on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. We're over on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And we're over on Twitter. Hi, Twitter. And these will be the three platforms that we'll be streaming from starting tomorrow with the Stout case. All right, let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm seeing. We're just going to do like a quick review of the cases, like what is it about, what's going on. So let's start with this one. Begging for his life, accused suitcase killer Sarah Boone prepares defense as trial approaches. This is the woman in Florida who got really drunk with her boyfriend and tricked him into getting into the suitcase and zipped him in there and then wouldn't let him out. He begged. There's video. She videotaped him doing this and then proceeded to go upstairs and pass out. She didn't remember she videotaped it. She waited a really long time to call the police once she woke up, didn't remember the video, gave her phone over, and there's the video. So somebody's in trouble, I would say.
Trial hearing is scheduled to take place in a couple of weeks in the case of a Florida woman accused of trapping her boyfriend inside of a suitcase and filming him crying out for help. Sarah Boone is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Jorge Torres Jr. 3 years ago. Boone told investigators that she and Torres were drinking wine at home while playing a game of hide-and-seek. Boone said she eventually passed out in bed, but when she woke up, she checked a suitcase that Torres was reportedly hiding in and found him unresponsive. During the investigation, police found videos on Boone's phone recording Torres as he tried to escape the suitcase. Boone's defense attorney said he'll present a battered spouse defense at trial. There were reports of intimate partner violence between the two. Boone's next court date for that pre-trial hearing is scheduled for March 28th. And to kind of give you an idea of evidence that we expect to see, here's Boone's 911 phone call from the day in question.
No, tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and
I have to stop this and say that Sarah Boone grates on my last nerve. I do not like her personality whatsoever. She's condescending. She gaslights. She thinks she's above you. It's just really hard to watch Sarah Boone.
put him in a case and we were playing, and like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It's like he has like blood coming out of his mouth, and I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Listen, we're getting help out there too. Okay, is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No, I pulled him out of the suitcase. I tried giving him CPR.
Okay, so he was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
And didn't remember that I videotaped him begging for his life, right? Hi, Dallas. How are you today? I hope you're having a happy Sunday as well. Oh my gosh, Jose, she makes me so mad. Her voice irritates me. I gotta be honest, this one irritates me.
Okay, how old is the boyfriend, ma'am? 42-year-old man. All right, listen to me. Okay, I just need to confirm this one. All right, I understand. I just need to confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No, he's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
Boone said in her interrogation that Torres Jr. could have gotten out of the suitcase at any point, but investigators challenged that claim.
The behavioral panel, was it them? We're going to watch a little bit of that, her interview with the behavioral panel. I don't remember if they're the ones that said this, but I forgot what I was going to say. Jeez. Behavioral panel. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think of it in a minute.
I remember this when you told us last night that...
Oh, I know. The behavioral panel, I think, said this has got to be one of the worst interrogations that they've ever seen. I don't know why I forgot that. That's like, we're talking. Okay. Anyway, Amy, suck it up. So, I don't know. I don't know about interrogations. I mean, it seemed like it was going okay, but when you watch it, you do kind of understand that, yeah, they interrupt her stream of thought. They don't challenge her too much. And so I can see, has anyone else seen that behavioral panel?
You were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has two fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different. And it actually shows you upset and, again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So
what
my thing is,
we're assuming, we're not assuming.
But
we're telling you what's on there.
so it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was,
I think she did say, let's play a funny game of hide and seek, or you get in the suitcase and I'll push you down the stairs, or something like that. Like, it'd be funny. I don't know. I don't think she somehow tricked him to get in there. I don't think like she knocked him out and put him in there. I think that he got in there willingly, just to see like, hey, I bet you can't fit in that suitcase, or something like that, I think happened. And once he got in, she wouldn't let him out, because even in this video, I'm going to show you this one. Oops, not this one. This one right here.
A woman named Sarah Boone will go on trial for allegedly zipping.
This forward a little bit. Okay, so let's listen to her.
The video of the recording. Keep an eye on the suitcase. Very, very disturbing to watch. Take a look.
And I think right here is the stairs. So I think she had pushed him down the stairs already.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
She's obviously very drunk. You can hear the slur.
You.
Sarah.
Right there.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Right there. See, she said stupid. She tricked him in there. I'm relatively sure she tricked him. Good, Dallas. I'm okay. I'm better than I was last week. But I'm ready to show my face to the world again and just go on with life. They didn't need the interview. They just wanted a motive to charge her with murder. Well, it was a bad interview in that once you watch it and you notice what they're doing, they had to interview her though. She thought that she couldn't remember the video. So, I think that's it. Hold on. I gotta reshare my screen. Hold on. Look, I say hold on a lot. Okay. So let's just go back to what we were watching with her. Oh, wrong one. This one. Okay.
just happen to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also, in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you could see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that that hole. That
He
you're
essentially
talking
would have
about.
been able to get out.
Alcohol.
Based off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then, you know.
I did not zip it up all the way.
Brian, you must have argued, battered spouse defense or syndrome before. How do you think that's going to work here?
Yeah, so I have, Jesse, in the cases that I've prepped for and also I've seen, it's a very different scenario than in this case. It's the
I just really don't
wife
think,
sleeping next to the husband who's
even if she's just a very unlikable character, I don't think that's going to fly whatsoever.
abusing her for decades, years, whatever you want to say, and then turns around and stabs him in his sleep because that's the only opportunity that she has. The idea is it's
There were no
PTSD, and that this partner, oftentimes a woman, is in such a hell that in that slight moment where they can get away, they use violence as a form of almost self-defense. But trapping in a suitcase, recording, laughing, mocking, well, those facts are, I think, where the defense fails in trying to raise this this issue of IPV.
Yeah, Terry, so we chose not to play the audio.
I mean, okay, I played the audio. It's even worse. I played the video too. It's even worse that she's mocking him and making fun of him.
Torres trying to get out of the suitcase.
All the things you did to me. Stupid.
It's just incredibly disturbing, but the jury's probably going to see it during a trial. How do you think that's going to impact them?
Oh, it's going to really impact that jury, and I think it's going to have an impact on the ultimate verdict here. I had a chance to see that video. I wish I had not seen it. You cannot unsee something like that. And listen to his voice as he's begging her, Sarah, please open the suitcase. I cannot breathe. And I think if the jury sees that, they're going to understand this was not an accident. She was not drunk. She was videotaping him, begging for his life. And so I definitely think that it's something that should get into evidence. There should be no problem getting this in. It's an admission of sorts. And of course, I think if that jury hears the begging and the pleading for life, they're going to turn.
They for sure have tried to keep that suitcase video out of the trial. I'm sure it's in, but I'm 100% sure that her team tried to keep it out.
I think this woman is guilty and she should go to jail for the rest of her life.
Really disturbing case. I know it presents kind of an interesting legal question, a legal defense. From right now, it doesn't seem like it has much weight. 3 men accused of gunning down an up-and-coming rapper are still on the brink of finding out their fates. The jury in the XXX
And then we'll pop over to here. I think I watched part of this with you guys already. Where do we want to go to? Let's go to when she's outside. For those that don't know, the behavioral panel is a group of experts that watch videos. They're experts in behavioral. They're behavioral experts. They watch what you do and say, and can pretty much say if you're guilty or not.
That's what I'm scared about too. Like
let's go here. Okay.
Get put your tune
She wants to say something. She wants to talk. I'm on.
We don't know anything though, like why or how. So that we will not know the answer to that because we're not doctors. So what's gonna happen is he's gonna go to the medical examiner's office and he'll have what's called an autopsy. Yeah, that'll be first thing tomorrow morning. I'll know a lot, hopefully a lot more tomorrow morning as far as him. But I cannot. There's no way I could say how, why. So just by looking at him, like, why is he purple? Oh, that's normal when someone passes away. Lividity return.
As soon as the heart stops beating, the blood starts to settle to the lowest points of the body.
She also is very thirsty in this interview. So thirsty though that I think at one point she's drinking out of like a garden tap. That's a sure sign that she drank last night.
I'm like really scared. I want you guys to know that.
You have, look around, you have all these deputies here, so while we're here, nothing's going to happen to you. Before we go and make new notifications, you'll have plenty of time to leave or do what you need to do. Whatever you need to do, okay? We can talk about that more in length, but yeah, it's not going to be a surprise.
Real quick, and then, but like, I don't, like, this was totally, like, not intentional. Like, that's what I'm scared about too. Like,
we'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after next week.
Too, like,
we'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after next week. Like you said, what you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to the scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that we know of. For him to have passed away, we come out.
I know.
Yeah. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office, we send people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't do this.
I don't know what it is.
Exactly, and that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answer.
I'll tell you what it is. You put them in a suitcase and zipped them up and left them in there. That's what it is.
The answers that you want, the answers that his family's
I
going to
just
want.
really want to see my son. I really need to see my son. I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but right. So do I just like sit out here and wait for you guys?
If you would, yes, please.
Does anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here that needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him, they're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point. So we won't be calling them quite yet. Okay? So like I said, I got to go do some paperwork. They're going to chat with some people, and then we're going to come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes,
so just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that.
Okay, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so it's a baseline now, this protective piece that she's doing. It comes up, it goes down, it's tucked right in. It's now almost, static for her that she's in here and here, which is, clearly she's under a lot of stress right now. But there are two big deviations from that kind of baseline of stress. One is the shoulders go up and her hands go out for, I don't know, which is this kind of thing of, what are you going to do? I don't know anything. I think there's a deviation from baseline on that because that is her strategy. That's her big tactic here is I'm going to do just, I don't know stuff. We'll see, because I think we got another episode that will come up next week on the interview. So we'll see whether that strategy plays out in the interrogation.
Okay, so it was the interview that we watched parts of. We haven't watched this
in the interview, but I think that's her strategy right now. Play, I don't know, what are you going to do about it? And then there's another deviation from baseline, which maybe it's similar to the kind of hamster that you were talking there, Greg. So maybe this is idiosyncratic, but it's a little bit lower and it's kind of scurrying around stuff that goes on, a little bit of piano playing, or maybe spiders or insects. So, and it's on, is everyone here? Now, whether this is just idiosyncratic, could be, or whether it's just like, is everybody here? Can the band start? Let's start a number.
I think it's a control thing. What do you guys think? What do you think? So everybody's here. It's a control thing. She's trying to figure out what's going on because she's probably pretty worried that she's going to be charged with this.
Could be that, or maybe it is the metaphor in her mind of insects or spiders scurrying around, something low to earth, something a little bit malignant around us, scurrying around, that they're going to, search out in every corner and she'll be found out. I don't know which one it is. I quite like the metaphor idea for that of scurrying insects. But as Greg was saying before about that other gesture more up here, could be totally idiosyncratic. Anyway, two nice deviations from baseline there. Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. I'm not going to have much to add to this
There
thing.
isn't much.
We're seeing pretty much the same behaviors. You're right about the
So-
change in her baseline there a little bit.
That's the Sarah Boone case in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and we're going to move on, because if I stay on this case, I could stay on for a very long time. So let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to move on to the Lori Vallow case. The Lori Vallow case. Oh, one more Sarah Boone thing I have. Actually, this was Sarah Boone in court on Friday. So let's look at this quickly.
All right, let's go ahead and call up Miss Boone's case.
State of Florida versus Sarah Boone, 2020 CF 2603. State of Florida.
Andy Catchup on behalf of the state.
Defense.
Frank Bankowitz.
Let's go ahead and swear Miss Boone in.
May you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
The Sarah Boone case is the case that I'm hoping to go to and cover live at the courthouse.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Morning, ma'am. Tell me your name and your date of birth.
Sarah Boone, October 10th, 1977.
All right, we're here for pre-trial conference today. Mr. Catchup, where do you stand in preparing to proceed forward to trial?
State's right, Your Honor.
Mr. Bankwitz, where do you stand in regards to preparing
I'm
for
sorry,
trial?
the defense is not ready. We're requesting a continuance. We are having difficult time finding an expert who is willing to work for the JAC rates. And so I'm still...
They're finding it hard to find a therapist that likes Sarah.
It's an essential part of the case, basically. It's never been initiated before by any of the prior attorneys that I'm aware of.
In broad terms, what's the nature, what's the field?
Spouse defense.
Okay.
Statutorily, we have to give the state notice, sufficient time, and name of the expert and the essential elements that they'll be testifying to.
Mr. Catchup, what's your position in regard to the defense request for continuance?
I would have no objection to another role.
So, Mr. Bankwitz, how deeply have you plumbed the depths of the pool of experts in this field to find out or find one who's willing to work for the JAC rate?
Well, I've actually talked to 3, and they don't have contracts with JAC and are not willing to work with JAC. And I've made some other inroads with battered women's shelters, trying to get their psychologists, who'd be willing. The problem is willing to testify, basically.
Okay. Because of the concern about the compensation rate for testimony?
Well, that's one of the things. And to be honest with you, this case has had so much notoriety that people don't want to be involved.
Okay. So, Mr. Bankwitz, I'm certainly willing to give you additional time based on my understanding of the case. I understand why that would be a defense the defense would want to explore about potentially.
It's a pretty disgusting case, so I could see why nobody would want to be a part of it. And she's also a very unlikable person. I don't mean to keep saying that, but she's, I don't think she'll do well in court if she were to testify for herself.
Presenting. What I'm not sure about is whether the inability to find an expert forever delays the trial of the case.
I wouldn't expect it to be a forever delay, Judge. And you know me better than that.
Mr. Catchup, well, I just want to make sure everyone in the room understood that I'll give reasonable amounts of time to prepare a defense. The defendant's entitled to an adequate defense, but they're not necessarily entitled to the exact defense they would prefer to have if resources run limited. So, Mr. Cacciatore, remind me, where are we as far as lining up your various homicide cases for trial? I know we have some things set to go to trial in the June trial period.
Yes, we have
July,
both
July would be
Mr.
better for me.
Furlong and Mr. Sowell set for then.
I mean, if they're asking Amy F. Williamson on Parawoman Radio when would be the best time that I could attend the trial, it would probably be July or August. I didn't know that they postponed it. I hope. Let's see. What did they postpone it to?
And then as far as this trial period, we have Mr. Hall and potentially Mr. Ofori as well. If I could ask of the defense, because I think it would make a difference in the timing of the continuance in this case, does the defense intend to hire an expert to testify generally as to the precepts and the things that go along with battered spouse syndrome, or do they intend to hire an expert that will evaluate Mrs. Boone and want to comment on her directly? And the reason I ask that is because I think the case law is clear that if it's the latter thing, then the state is entitled to have her sit down with our own expert to be evaluated as well. So that would obviously take more time if that is going to be the path they're going to go.
Mr. Banquets, are you in a position
Number
to
two is definitely what we're looking at, Judge. Although number one would be incorporated in that as far as their general ability and their expertise in the area.
Would you agree that if in fact you retain an expert and they're going to opine specifically on Ms. Boone's state of mind at the time of the incident, that opens the door for the state to also have an expert? All right.
Most definitely.
So here's what I am, and Mr. Castro, let me ask you this.
Give it to me.
Let's say that turns out not to be an issue. We're not going to have two experts. How long would it otherwise take you to present your case? Just rough idea.
I would say 3 days.
And other than this potential defense, Mr. Banquets, and is that including jury selection, Mr. Cacciatore?
No, I probably 3.5 days.
I'd say a week at least.
All right. And Mr. Banquets, other than this potential defense, if we picked a jury in 1 day, the state presented their case in 2.5 days, how long do you anticipate a defense presentation would be at this point?
I'd say at least 3 days.
Okay.
So here's what I'm thinking.
We're looking at half.
I'll grant the continuance. I'm thinking continuing out to the July 11th pretrial, July 24th trial period.
How long is that trial period, Judge? I have a time certain death penalty case in Lake County starting the second week in August.
That's a 3-week trial period, so it would be the week starting Monday, July 24th, Monday, July 31st, and then the last week of the trial period would be Monday, August 7th.
That's when I'm scheduled to start picking a jury in Lake County.
Well, let's do this. I want to set it for that date. That way you'll have a much better idea of what's actually happening on your death penalty case in Lake County. I understand that they're priority cases, but I also know that they're the cases where if a problem comes up, no matter what a judge has said before, they're likely to allow the case to move because they don't want to try it twice.
Just to advise the court, this case had to be continued at the last minute because of one of the attorney's wives basically had a stroke, and so it was a week before we were scheduled to start in that case. But Judge Davis up there Now that has, I won't say resolved itself, but is in a better position, Judge Davis has advised all of us that we're going, quote, come hell or high water.
Aha.
See, I try not to say things like that because I feel like I'm just tempting fate.
That's just
High water comes.
Well, having never worked there, it means nothing to me. So, I'll grant the change July 11th pretrial, July 24th trial period. And let's go ahead and do this. While I'm giving July 11th as the date, let's go ahead and have the lawyers reach out to my judicial assistant and just like we did this time, schedule a status separate, unique date for pretrial so that I have.
I'm speechless.
Y'all have my undivided attention when we talk about the case. I don't have 97 other lawyers tapping their fingers, waiting to get to me.
Sounds good, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ms. Boone, we return.
Okay, so Sarah Boone case is going to be moved to July, what he say, July 11th, pretrial. So that won't be happening in April. It's actually a much better time for me. April, May, June. Yes, much better time. I'm okay with it. I'm good. How are you with it? Are you going to be good with it? Will you be able to watch me live at the trial? Let me know if you're good with it because I'm pretty good with it. I can do that in July. I'm pretty sure. So, all right, let's move on to the Lori Vallow case. I want to do the Leticia Stauch, the last one. So what do I have queued up for Miss Lori Vallow? Okay. So the Lori Vallow, I want to just break here and say you've got it tuned into Parawoman Radio, and I'm Amy. And if you could give this live a thumbs up, a heart, a smile, however you do it on the platform you are at, you are watching me today. Today we're going live over on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. We're over on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And we're over on Twitter. Hi, Twitter. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. And wherever you're watching it on the replay, I hope you're doing well. If you could give my live a thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider sharing. I've got my little co-host here with me today. She's been pretty popular in the videos lately. Yeah. Everybody's loving your videos more than my true crime. What do you have to say for that yourself? Mm-hmm. Anything? This is Maybelline, by the way. She's my co-host. Oh, she just wants a little love. That's all. She doesn't want to talk. So she'll just watch. So we're going to move over to the Lori Vallow case. For those that don't know, May, this is awkward a little bit. What did you say? When you say this is a little uncomfortable and awkward? Huh? Just a little? I like it better when you face. Your face this way. Here we go. I watched Daisy Jones and the Six. Made me miss my red hair. So today we have the long red hair. So those that don't know the Lori Vallow case, she's the cult doomsday mom. She was supposed to do a joint trial with her husband, and I say husband loosely, Chad Daybell. They murdered, supposedly murdered Chad's wife and Lori's two children, and Lori's ex-husband, maybe another ex-husband of Lori. Lori's brother was the one that possibly killed the children. He's gone. It's just a whole crazy series of events. And actually, this happened right around the time the Leticia Stauch case happened. And it actually happened, those two cases happened right around the Watts case time period. And they're just now coming to trial. Granted, COVID probably did something to it, and and Chris Watts immediately pled guilty, and these people are fighting their case. But I mean, it's been that long.
Where jury selection for the trial of doomsday cult mom Lori Vallow Daybell is scheduled to start on Monday. Vallow is charged with murder and conspiracy in the deaths of her children J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, along with Tammy Daybell, the first wife of her husband Chad Daybell. He's being tried separately on similar charges. Vallow has been in jail for over 3 years after the pandemic delayed proceedings related to things like competency. And a big topic expected to be brought up during jury selection is religion. See, the prosecution says the murders were tied to the couple's extremist beliefs. But before jury selection even begins, 3 big developments happened in the case that you need to know about. So first, Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow were supposed to be tried together, but now that is not happening. You see, Judge Stephen Boyce ruled last year that the couple would...
I don't think I said that they were supposed, I started to say it, they were supposed to be tried together, but the cases have been severed, and the Lori Vallow Daybell case is going to be going forward on Monday, and the Chad Daybell will not. And the reason is because Lori would not waive her right to a speedy trial, and the reason why it's taking so long was because Lori was deemed incompetent and was sent to a state hospital for a good year.
Tried together in Ada County. However, defense attorneys brought up on several occasions that Daybell waived his right to a speedy trial while Vallow did not. Daybell's defense team argued that their client's case would require more prep time and that trying them together would rob them of that time. In March of this year, the judge finally agreed to sever their cases just a month before the trial was set to begin. Now, the second big change, Vallow no longer faces the possibility of getting the death penalty if she's convicted. In May of 2022, prosecutors announced that they were going to seek the death penalty in Vallow's case. Her defense team filed a motion opposing that decision last month, citing discovery violations, mental health concerns, and media attention. The motion even said, quote, "We don't kill witches anymore in America." Judge Boyce ultimately ruled in favor of the defense.
So I did not know that. I did not know that she's not facing the death penalty any longer. I wonder if they'll remove that for Chad as well. I bet you they won't because he didn't waive. No. I don't know. You know what? They're not going to remove it for Chad. They're going for him. But, I mean, do you think Lori should have had it removed? I think Lori is mentally ill. I really do think she has something. My background is in psych soc. I have my BA. And there is definitely something going on with Lori.
That Vallow can now face.
She has a very weird upbringing, and she had a very strange relationship. Almost I don't dare say the word, but what you do with your sibling when that is exy, or I don't even want to say that, but you know what I'm saying. I think you do, and if you don't, ask me in the comments and I'll tell you what I mean.
Life in prison without.
Just YouTube will demonetize you, and I'm like I'm over 700 now, so we only need like what 200 and some odd people to be monetized on YouTube, and I've worked hard. I've worked hard, and so I'm doing the best I can with not saying these words.
The possibility of parole. There's something else that you need to know, and that is that there's currently a battle going on between Vallow's defense and one of the victim's grandparents over seating in the gallery at trial. That's right.
This is going to make me angry, but I understand why. If they say that Kay and I forget the grandfather can't
court's guidelines, victims are allowed to sit and watch the trial, but Vallow's defense argued in a hearing this week that Kay and Larry Woodcock, the grandparents of J.J. Vallow, would not be considered victims in this case under Idaho law. Witnesses aren't allowed to sit in and listen to other witnesses' testimony, and there's a possibility that Kay Woodcock could in fact be a witness. Judge
Larry. But I bet if Kay's not going to be called, Larry would be able to be called, right? Or be able to sit in there.
Boyce has yet to make a ruling on this particular matter. Let's break it down. Brian, no death penalty, being tried separately from Chad. I feel like that's got to work in Lori's favor, right?
Yeah, so we split the baby here, and for lack of a better term, and sorry for the poor choice of words.
I don't know about you guys, but I really wanted them to be tried together, but I didn't think they were going to be tried together.
But no death penalty makes it a little bit easier and a little bit harder, because no death penalty means that the stakes are a little bit lower, but it's harder to negotiate a plea if Lori Vallow Daybell wanted to get one, because in the prosecutor's mind, they've already reduced the case liability from death to life in prison because of a judge's ruling, so they're probably not going to get a good deal. But being tried separately is a huge win, because at the end of the day, the jury wants to find the bad person. And here, Lori can say that the bad person is the bad guy, her husband, because she can argue, why would I kill my children? Why would I do this? I was maybe forced. I was maybe pressured.
Isn't it going to be fun to see them two turn on each other? I think it will be.
Maybe there's some sort of coercion. Maybe my mental health issues were overcome by this guy. Go get him, not me. It could work to her favor.
Well, Terry, Lori Vallow wants to keep the grandparents from viewing the trial because they may be called as witnesses. Do you think that should be allowed in?
I think that she should be able to sit, both the grandparents should be able to sit in there. They are victims, they are family. And what Vallow is arguing is, no, they're not technically grandmother and grandfather, but they raised the children as if they were their own. Now, technically, Kay may be called as a witness. That's what we have heard. But I do.
Well, technically, Kay is the grandmother because it was her child who had the baby, or what fathered. I don't remember. I think it was her son who had the baby, and then Lori adopted the baby. So wouldn't.
Do you think that there can be some sort of compromise here where she's allowed to sit in most of the trial, but then for portions where there might be some issue, she cannot sit there? And I do think that it's a good rule not to have witnesses be in the courtroom because they could change their testimony. And that's exactly why the judge did rule that they shouldn't be there. But these are really definitely family members. They raised them as such.
And look, while there are no cameras allowed in that courtroom here.
Okay, so he has ruled that they can't be there?
Law and Crime, we are going to do our best to bring you updates on this trial because we have been following it since the very beginning.
I just wish I was at this trial. I really do. I really want to be at the Chad one. I will do everything I can.
And we're finishing off this week in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where Alan.
What's up with it, like having just one title, but then they jump halfway through to another case? Sorry. My temper's been kind of bad this week. So let's go and see what else we have. Oh, I know. Oh no, that's Leticia. We could move on to the Leticia. Let's see if there's anything else. It will be bombshell shocking.
A huge trial kicking off on Monday in Idaho. Of course, the Lori Vallow trial will begin. She's accused of murdering her two children. She's also the subject of a very popular Netflix documentary. Joining us now to discuss this is someone who is...
Ooh, did you guys like the documentary? I liked it. We could maybe watch it together if you're interested. Put down in the comments if you're interested in watching that, or me even trying to put it together and put it up on my YouTube page. I've got the Suburban Nightmare, the full episode of the Chris Watts, and I improved the audio. So I've got that up there recently if you're interested in that.
Follow this.
That video actually is doing really well.
Case from the very beginning. Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. And Nate, thanks so much for being with us. All right, for our viewers who have not been following this as closely as you have, what are we to expect on Monday? Get us up to speed, if you will.
Tell us.
Well, the trial that has been taken, it's taken, 3.5 years almost for this to finally happen. Lori Vallow is charged with killing, as you mentioned, her two children, but she's also charged in Arizona for killing her fourth husband, or at least conspiring to kill him. And then she's charged with killing the conspiracy of murder for her new husband's
Does Arizona have the death penalty? I'm gonna look that up.
former
She could still be facing a death penalty.
wife. So there's a lot of bodies here that we're talking about. There's a lot of charges here, a lot of law enforcement agencies here, multiple states. It's taken a long time. Finally, Lori Vallow will go before a jury and answer to these charges, and there will be multiple witnesses. There will be a lot.
Okay, so I looked it up, and you can see here it says that since capital punishments was resumed in 1976, 40 people in Arizona were convicted of murder and have been executed at Florence State Prison in Florence, Arizona. Since 1992, Arizona has employed lethal injections for execution. So it looks like Lori could face a death penalty somewhere, you know. Are you a death penalty person? I'm not really. I don't really believe in the death penalty. Yeah.
10 weeks.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about, though, essentially.
If anyone deserved it, I would say Chad and Lori do.
Actually, jury selection, has that already concluded, or will that happen right away on Monday, or should we expect opening statements on Monday as well?
So this week, potential jurors have been dropping by questionnaires to the Ada County Courthouse in Boise. And the defense and the prosecution and the judge have been going through these questionnaires. On Monday, that's when the actual jury selection will happen based off of these pool of surveys, these pool of questionnaires. That's expected to last 3 to 5 days. And then we'll get into opening arguments right after Easter around April 10th, possibly a few days before. So we won't hear actual arguments, actual evidence, actual witnesses for about another week or so.
Wow. And we do know that she has been now spared the death penalty. That's awful.
And though Lori still has to choose her jury, Leticia Stauch has already done that. Or they did that last week. So the Leticia Stauch will start right away on Monday. They've already gotten the jury
table. Was that due to the, I guess, errors of the prosecution? Did they make kind of a fatal error, if you will? What's going on there? Why is that now off the table?
Well, the defense would probably say that they made a fatal error, or a very serious error, you could say. What happened was a bunch of evidence, a large portion of evidence was not turned over to the defense until just days ago or a week or so ago. And the defense argued to the judge that, listen, we don't have time to go through all of this evidence. And our mitigation specialist, the person who is responsible for trying to save Lori Vallow's life, that's this person's duty, wrote an affidavit to the judge and said, I do not have time to adequately go through all of this evidence. Now, the prosecution has said that we've been turning over evidence all along. There's just so much in this case. And this was an oversight that we just found. So I think the judge, rather than saying, well, let's just throw all that evidence out, he said, all right, well, we'll take the death penalty off the table. That way, the mitigation specialist, we don't need to worry about anymore. It's not as serious of a punishment as death is, and that things can proceed. So yeah, because the death penalty is off the table, the trial will be shorter. And
see, I hadn't heard that it was off the table, but now it makes sense why it is, I guess.
The stakes are not as high.
Okay, and I was also curious as well. We know that her alleged accomplice in all of this, her lover, her romantic partner, Chad Daybell, he will have his own trial. That was settled some time ago. They're not going to have a joint trial. Will any representatives from the Daybell camp be in the courtroom, do you think?
I think Chad's attorney will be there, and maybe not every day, but you would think he'd be dumb to not go, or someone from.
I like Chad's attorney Price. I mean, as much as you can like an attorney.
His team, because this
makes me laugh.
a preview in a way of their trial.
Right.
They're gonna get to know what the prosecution's arguments are. Things will be a little different. They face slightly different charges, but the bulk of it, I imagine, will be similar to his. But we have heard that, according to Lori's attorneys, Chad's children do not plan to go. And right now we're looking at basically probably Chad's attorney. Chad will not be able to go. He remains in Eastern Idaho in jail. So he won't be able to see his new wife, but I guess I shouldn't say new because it's been several years now. But yeah, I would expect his attorney to be present.
Okay, what about Lori Vallow herself? Does she have any supporters at this juncture in time? Will there be anyone sitting in the courtroom on her behalf, or only just detractors and opponents?
That's a good question. We do know that her attorney has said their witness list is basically nobody. Lori could take the stand, but he's publicly said they had a lot of witnesses. If this
Yes, please, Lori, take the stand.
was a death penalty case for when it came to the penalty part of it, but because that's off the table, they may call no witnesses. Well, you would think that a supporter would be a witness or someone that could add to the case, but as of now, there's none, or very, very little. Her family might show up. We haven't heard any indication. I have not heard that, though. They're in Arizona, so it's a long way to travel, a long way to sit through a trial. And they probably, maybe don't want to be there. But as far as I know, I don't think that there's anybody that still has her back and is supporting her. I think there are a lot of people that want to come and just see her, just, sit in the trial and see how she acts and see what the judge does.
Yeah. In your, I guess, entire time covering this so closely, have you ever had an extended conversation with Lori Vallow in any capacity?
No, 3
That was a good question.
minutes, but she didn't.
When he flew over to Hawaii, remember that video where he was asking where are the kids?
Not much to me. We walked down in Hawaii and we chatted, and I asked a bunch of questions and she answered one. And then when she returned to Rexburg, Idaho on a plane, I tried to communicate with her and she did not respond. So
He communicated with her on the plane? Did she fly commercial?
no, but I'd love to. If you can arrange that, I'd love to.
Well, speaking of the media's role in all of this,
It's probably after she got or before she got on the plane. Can you imagine being in a plane cabin and being like, Lori, where are the children? I would love that.
public access, from what I understand, is going to be quite limited to the trial, or at least delayed, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the unfortunate thing about this is that no cameras are allowed in the courtroom, and people want to see this, especially because it
maddening. I hope that the Chad one you can go in, or actually I hope to be there.
it spans over so many states.
At least you could be in the Leticia Stauch. Yes.
We've got Arizona, Utah, Hawaii, Idaho, and you have to, if you want to watch, you have to go. Now, we will get audio recordings at the end of the day, and of course, we'll share those publicly, or at least we hope the end of the day. We could get them the next day or a few days later, but there will be no live audio streaming.
Okay, but at least we're going to get the audio. All right.
There will be no live
Better
video.
than nothing, man. I'm taking it. The audio, I'll take it, and I'll share it with you guys.
In this day and age, a lot of people just expect live cameras. We've seen it on court TV. We've seen it elsewhere. But this judge who originally did allow cameras, but then Lori's attorneys asked for no cameras, and he granted that request, and he has been pretty firm on that decision.
Okay, just lastly, Nate, you talk about media sensations surrounding these major crime trials. This one, to me personally, seems very, very niche. I'm kind of wondering whether it will rise to the level, say, of what we saw last month with the Murdaugh murder trial in South Carolina. Do you think it's going to have that cachet? Are we going to see a frenzy of media attention surrounding this?
I think it's the Leticia Stauch one that we're all going to be tuning into on Monday, only because we can go into that courtroom. We're going to be paying attention, of course, to the Lori and reporting on it, but you can't you can't see and you can't hear till the end of the day or the next day or whenever they release it.
I think if cameras were in the courtroom, you would. I mean, there is a lot of, crazy stuff here. We're talking about zombies and spirits and multiple husbands and multiple wives and dead bodies. There's enough here that people would watch, but without cameras, I don't know if there will be that interest. I still think there's plenty of people that have never heard of the case, even though there was a Netflix special and even though there's been datelines and everything. But I don't know. I'll be interested to see that as well. I think not having cameras in there, though, will probably not make it as big as Murdoch or some of the other, larger cases we've seen.
And Nate, just lastly, I know this is kind of a weird question to ask you, kind of what you're looking forward to in a murder trial, but you've been so invested in this. You have to have some questions on your mind about what to expect for Monday, right?
Well, the big things that I want to answer, we still don't know the cause of death for JJ and Tylee. We know how their bodies were found.
I would love to know the cause of, well, I mean, listen, guys, when I say love or I say ha ha, woo hoo, it's just a way to lighten it up, a way to live your life, a way not to be sad about something that you're interested in discussing. So it's just, but I would like to know that.
Horrible condition. We don't know how they died, though. So those are the big questions I have. We know how Tammy has died based on what her parent or her children said publicly by asphyxiation, but who asphyxiated her? That's what I want to know. I'm also told by sources close to the case that we only know about 50% of what's out there. So there will be some bombshells, I think, in this case, some really shocking turn of events. We've known from the beginning that the evidence, there's so much evidence here. That's why it's going to take multiple weeks, 2 months. So yeah, I am looking forward to hearing it. I'm also looking forward to a conclusion. And many residents here in Idaho are. This has taken 3.5 years. They're ready for things to move on. Of course, we still have Chad's trial down the line, but at least with Lori, there might be some sort of finality here, within the next, by summertime.
Okay. Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Thank you so much for offering your reporting, your time. I'm sure we'll be speaking again throughout the duration of this trial. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that conversation there. Obviously, that trial begins Monday there in Idaho. We'll be relying on the reporting of Fox 10 Phoenix reporter Justin Lund.
So that is the Lori Vallow case and what's going to be happening there. So I want to remind you, this is Women Radio, and I'm Amy. Today we're talking about the Lori Vallow, Sarah Boone, and Leticia Stauch cases. I thought the Sarah Boone was going to be happening this month, but apparently it's been moved to July, which is just as well because I planned on being live at the courthouse with the Sarah Boone, and this month isn't turning out to be. This is a building month for me that I need to do some stuff. So hopefully I will be able to make it to the July Sarah Boone case. Lori Vallow is starting tomorrow. They're going to be doing jury selection. No cameras will be in the courtroom, but you will be allowed to listen to audio. They don't know when they're going to release it at the end of the day, possibly the next day, whenever, but we'll be covering her case as well. And finally, we're going to be talking about, for our last case, the Leticia Stauch case. Leticia Stauch is a woman who was married to a military man and who had a son named Gannon. I think Gannon was like, I don't know how old he was. I think he was like 10-ish. 7 to 10. I'm not really sure the exact age. Anyway, his stepmother, Leticia, was watching him while his father was away for whatever military exercise, and he went missing. She reported him as missing, and then she proceeded to tell different stories and act really strange. Went missing to Florida. Later, Gannon's body was found in Florida, and she has been a regular Houdini. she has somehow managed to get out of jail or custody numerous times. But I want to take us back to when Leticia Stauch was free and out giving those weird interviews. Does anyone remember those weird interviews? Let me share the screen. This is the interview where she wouldn't, like, they knew who she was. It had been reported who she was, but she did the interview from the behind. She wouldn't let the interviewer from the front. So here we go.
Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home. And of course, I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't complying. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives. And so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this
gross, just gross
child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there.
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
I wonder if Leticia has anybody supporting her. Like, is there anybody left that supports her and her nonsense?
They were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter asking why she was.
Who believes that? Who believes that?
Being detained in handcuffs and things like that when that shouldn't even happen for a child.
I have to say, she's another person that annoys me. Although the Sarah Boone definitely annoys me more. But she is, yeah.
That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was putting the handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, "Hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this?" instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your chat. Doing great. Well, I forgot. Still going to recording. Still can hear you okay. Okay. Yeah. Sounds like we're good. Every once in a while, my mic will give out, and I want to make sure that's not going to happen here. Okay.
She's so.
I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting.
Knowing that was her, right? Because she's got her back to us, and the glasses. The glasses really do it. I like. Who is that? Oh, who is he even talking to? I don't even know. I don't recognize her.
Acting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad.
Oh yes. Wow. Listen to this.
I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead.
Stupid people. How could they even possibly think I was in on this?
And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching.
I wish this was true.
My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done.
So if Gannon were to come home, that is what she has to say. That if Gannon were to come home, those people out there that said bad things about her, they'd have something to say, right? Not the good thing that Gannon came home, but that they were wrong and they would need to apologize probably.
I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon, and I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids, we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said...
Did that sound sincere to you?
That you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? We don't. That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here, because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. And if she doesn't want to, that's okay. But you're allowed.
That's fine.
Sound okay so far?
Yes, I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home.
You want her to verify it
from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still, you know, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Just saw her face. That must be Leticia. I didn't recognize her at first because, you know, from the back and the glasses. But yeah, that's her.
She need to hold this.
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work, and I can verify that he was there that night.
She said she's still a child, but how is she in the military if she's still a child?
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Okay. I guess when.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with
legal
stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope. Am I on camera now?
You are still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative. But to me, it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. Sincere apology from everyone who has made.
She will be on trial tomorrow and we'll be going live watching that case. The jury has already been selected and we'll be good to go on Monday. The last thing I wanted to watch was the many different ways Leticia Stauch tried to escape justice. And this is Alex Erickson. We won't watch this entire video, but I will put the video, if you want to watch her entire video, down in the description down below. So don't know, was this a live?
Like this.
No, it actually wasn't a live. I thought it was
one that turned blood red in World War II.
So actually, we're not going to watch that. I'm just going to go ahead and end it right there. So be with us tomorrow starting at, what time did I put? Oh, no, check. All right, hold on a second. Let me look. I got fast fingers. I want to say hi to all my new subscribers. We got quite a few over the weekend. A lot of them, I think, came for the Maybelline videos, the little dog videos. We have a few of her videos out. And I think it's starting at 8:30, and it's Colorado time. So I put 1 p.m., but that's not right either. Let me see when. Hi. Let's see what time it starts. We'll start it starting at 8:30 Eastern time, and if that's not right, just pay attention for the start time, and we'll get the right time for you. Let me fix it while I'm here. Sorry. 8:30. All right, guys. I'm so excited. We're going to watch a live trial with Leticia Stauch. It's about time, right? So this is Women Radio, and I'm Amy. We covered the Sarah Boone, which has been moved to July Lori Vallow, the jury selection starts tomorrow, and Leticia Stauch trial starts tomorrow, and the jury has been selected, so we're good to go. And so we'll be together soon, so soon. You know why? It's all because I love you. I love you guys so much, and I'm so happy to be back here with you. I want to say hi to all of my new subscribers. Hi, guys. And I want to say hi to all of my continuing supporting subscribers. Hi, guys. I'm so glad you guys are all here with me. And so we'll be together soon, so soon that it's going to be like 8:30 tomorrow on Monday, April 3rd, 2023, in like what time is it? Less than 24 hours. I'm not going to be able to put it together, but because I just can't do math on the fly like that. But we're going to be together soon, I promise. And do you know why? Because I love you. That's why. I truly, truly love you. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
A woman named Sarah Boone will go on trial for allegedly zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase back in 2020. She recorded his pleas for help and then let him die. We're going to show you this video, the video of the recording. Keep an eye on the suitcase. Very, very disturbing to watch. Take a look.
Sarah. For everything you've done to me. Sarah. For everything you've done to me. Sarah. You. Sarah. You. Sarah. Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
We did it again. I like that shirt.
Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.